Mr. Norm Ellis.
Well, thank you, folks. Mr. Mayor, you blew me out of the water. I had a lot to say about expenses the campaign here, but you kind of shot me down, took the wind out of my sails, but I'm going to make a comment anyway. I'm glad to see we didn't spend what I thought we had spent. However, I'm sorry we had to spend anything. And I guess what I'm saying is, when you have somebody coming into a city, any town or city, for campaign purposes, they're not doing anything for us. They come in here and I don't think they spend much coffee, buy much coffee or sandwiches, spend much for gas. I don't think they really care about our welfare at all. I think they're using us. It's a user situation, and that bothers me. So we have to pay our police and fire and administrative costs to take care of this, and I feel bad about that. And in light of the fact that there's so many people who are riding on the edge of it in this town right now, I would suggest that we follow the lines of Durham and Wyndham. Say no to these people. We don't need them. We can vote. They get millions of campaign funds of their own. They can do their own expenses. They can go where they want. But thank you for being astute and keeping expenses down. Taxes are always a sensitive issue. I would like to ask you to take a perspective, if you haven't already, of looking at the city of Rochester as a family. Not a city, not made up of buildings. But take a look at Rochester as a family. And we're all members of that family. We need to look out for each other. We need to help each other. We need to encourage businesses. We need to encourage a free enterprise. The free enterprise was damaged on Saturday. Their businesses that were impacted negatively by the administration coming in here and campaign run. They lose revenue in that day to one extent or another, and yet you still expect them to pay taxes. That doesn't balance out too well. Okay? All I'm saying is, in the future, and all of your dealers, and just you're above average people in my book, you're very capable. Excuse me. I would like to ask you to, if you look at the families, the city as a family, when you're dealing with taxes and expenses to take care of everything, I know you're going to do the very best you can to make sure that nobody's hurt unfairly. There's too many hurting people right now. And I'm not going to beat a dead horse with that. I'm only going to make a passing remark on this Agenda 21. You know that the term Agenda 21 makes me shudder. Just the term. It has sinister connotations. It involves new restrictive legislation across the country, all the way down to our hometown. And anytime the legislation is passed, most of it is going to be restrictive. We're living in a very restrictive legislative society already. Let's try to keep the legislation down. Let's try to minimize it. And if we're going to pass it, try to make it non-restrictive. Agenda 21 kind of reminds me of the raging fight that's going on in this nation right now about the Second Amendment. Because the United Nations wants to get in on that controversy within our borders. I don't want the United Nations in our country. They have no business in our sovereign borders. And if they're going to have something to say about Agenda 21, then we're in a lot of danger. Because it's going to go all the way from they're going to go from the border to border, every state, every town, every city. Make everything sustainable. I'll tell you what, I don't know everything I want to know about Agenda 21, but I'm urging you, please, don't be like Nancy Pelosi, say, let's pass this so we can find out what it's all about. learn what you're voting on, and be educated, and then deal with it, and know what it means to all of us.
Perfect, thank you.
I didn't mean to make it sound like a sermon. Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
GrokTV.